every morning with drive. Being on the grind, know I had to survive. We had to win. Started from the dirt and the rubble. I had to be the needle that was popping your bubble.
Hello and welcome into the Rookie Prospect Profile Series. This is a Zilla Fantasy Elite production. Smash that subscribe button if you've been enjoying these videos. All right, today we're going to be looking at running back Jaylen Wright. Very exciting in the Dynasty community. We're going to be looking at him in both the RStudio model and the neural network model for running backs. Jaylen Wright was drafted number 120 overall, which is the 4th round of the NFL draft, and he was drafted by the Miami Dolphins, which is a very good landing spot for him. They do come into the league out of the University of Tennessee, so he was a volunteer. All right, let's go look at some of those physical traits for Jaylen Wright. And what do we see? Comes in at 5'11", 210 pounds, giving him a BMI of 29.3. He ran a very healthy 4.38 in the 40-yard dash, giving him a speed score of 114.1. Putting these physical traits along with some of their college numbers, which were also pretty decent in terms of the yards per carry at 7.4, but just a 15.5% college dominator rating. We put these into the RStudio model, and we get a prospect score of 13.803, which ranks 133 overall out of the 327 running backs in the RStudio model's database. It's in the 59th percentile at 59.3%. All right, let's go look at those closest comparables. We do see the closest comp for Jaylen Wright is Jerome Ford. Pretty interesting there. A little bit better than him. The next closest better than him, Marlon Mack, Javorius or Buck Allen, Dre Archer, Jordan Howard, and Malcolm Brown. Next, worse than Jaylen Wright, we have Chuba Hubbard, then Bilal Powell, Rashad Jennings, Damian Williams, and Tajay Spears. A pretty interesting one here. I think Chuba Hubbard and Jerome Ford, not too terrible of a comps. They weren't super fast like he is at 4.38, but certainly size-wise, somebody that you'd be comparable to Jaylen Wright there. He does find himself in Miami, which is a good spot. They can utilize his speed very much so. Let's now switch our gears over to the machine learning model and see what we have for Jaylen Wright. We can see here he's kind of middle of the pack. Here we have 31 running backs that we're looking at. Most of these ranks are hovering right around the 9 to 12 range, so all kind of in that range. Minimum output at 6.26 would be his career best if that was the worst option, if that makes any sense. So his career best could be as low as 6.26 if it reaches a 1 out of 100 outcome. The mean and median, though, 11.24, 11.17. I wouldn't say that's exactly terrible considering where he's drafted in the 4th round. Kind of expect somebody to have roughly an outcome like that if they get opportunities in the NFL. Maximum output there at 16.85, though that is ranked 9th best in the class. So we can kind of see his ceiling in there a little bit higher. So if this guy does get the opportunities, it's expecting him to maybe have a pretty decent ceiling should we see that. Let's go look in the 11.2 range for historical comps, at least in the last 11 seasons of anybody who's gotten at least 80 opportunities in a season like that. So we do have some elderly people like Adrian Peterson, Eddie Lacy and stuff are in here. All of these players are in between 11 and 11.4 fantasy points per game. So we have Gus Edwards, his career best is exactly 11. Michael Carter at 11.03, Charles Sims, J.K. Dobbins at 11.23, Trey Mason, Carlos Williams, Ty Montgomery, Andre Brown, and Alex Collins round out there at 11.4. So all those guys in between 11 and 11.4 fantasy points per game, roughly what you can expect as a median outcome for Jaylen Wright's career best fantasy points per game. So let's go look at that maximum output. We saw 16.85. Can he produce that in his career? And if so, what does that look like? These running backs all in between 16.61 and 17.2 as their career best. So we have Travis Etienne at 16.61, Shane Vereen, Ryan Matthews, Trent Richardson, Eddie Lacy, Breece Hall at 17.09, Reggie Bush at 17.1, and then Dion Lewis in his career best season was at 17.2 fantasy points per game. So that's roughly the ceiling outcome you can expect for Jaylen Wright should he receive 80 opportunities in a season. It's just above what Jahmyr Gibbs was doing last year at 16.14. So keep that in mind as far as his ceiling outcome. All right, hopefully the RStudio model and the machine learning model here give you a little bit of additional confidence in all the analysis that you're doing for each of these incoming rookies. And maybe you can hit the draft button in the upcoming draft season on the appropriate players and dominate your fantasy leagues. All right, that's going to do it for today's rookie prospect profile. And this was on Mr. Jaylen Wright, very exciting prospect going to Miami. This is presented by Zilla Fantasy Elite. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.